What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be predicting the college football playoff semifinal matchups. We have Ole Miss and Miami today, and we also have Indiana and Oregon tomorrow. I'm going to give an in-depth breakdown for both of these games, and I'm going to predict the score as well as the spreads and the over-unders. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And tonight, the 6-seed Ole Miss will play the 10-seed Miami. Sportsbook college football odds says Miami by 3.5, and a lot of experts are picking Miami to win this game because of that defense and how well they have played this college football playoff, beating Texas A&M and Ohio State and having dominant defensive performances. In both those two games combined, they had 2 sacks. Miami and Ole Miss have met 3 times in the history of college football. Miami leads the series 2-1, and there is a lot at stake in this game. I'm really looking forward to these matchups because a lot of these teams have not been in the big picture to win the national title in over 20 years. And in fact, 3 of them don't have an outright national title. Ole Miss shared a national title with Minnesota, and that was nearly 100 years ago, though. But Miami did win a national title back in 2001 with one of the greatest defenses ever. And the story of this team is the defense once again, with Mesidor and Bain off the edge, 2 athletic and dynamic edge rushers. This is a Miami team that plays down to the competition at times, that's why they have 2 losses. But Mario Cristobal has had this team ready for the big games, and they play up to their competition, and their defense can compete with anybody. And even after missing the ACC title game, they were able to make the playoffs, and they are 1 win away from the national title. But they are running into an Ole Miss offense that has been one of the most unstoppable in the nation. A lot of the defenses in the college football playoff have been the main focus. Indiana shutting down Alabama to 3 points, Oregon shutting out Texas Tech 23-0. Miami's defense stepping up and winning them multiple games. There's been a lot of low-scoring battles, but this Ole Miss team managed to go for over 30 points on that Georgia defense. This is an Ole Miss team that has had a consistent offense all year, and they have a quarterback in Trinidad Chambliss who I think is extremely underappreciated. I think he's a more dynamic and two-way player than Julian Sand, and I think Ole Miss has a better offensive line too, and they are more two-dimensional on offense. So really the main thing I think this game will come down to is if that Ole Miss offensive line can protect Trinidad Chambliss, because this is a very tough pass and attack to stop. That Miami secondary is very improved, but there's been times where they have got exposed, and I don't know about that run defense either. If they can take the pressure off of the quarterback and just protect him, watch out, Ole Miss should be able to win this game. But really, this is going to be a matchup of strength against strength. There's going to be key factors in this game and a lot to take away. It's going to be a strength of that Ole Miss offense versus that Miami defense, especially up front. And with how Ole Miss was able to run the ball better against Georgia, running for nearly 100 yards, I am impressed. The first time they were not able to run the ball. And I don't think Miami has a super strong run defense, so if Ole Miss is able to run the ball, then they should be able to win this game. Keywan Lacey has ran for over 1,000 yards this season, but they also have a quarterback who has thrived. He became the starter in the 3rd game this season. He's had 4,100 total yards and 29 touchdowns. They have had one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. The playmakers for that Ole Miss offense like Keywan Lacey, Harrison Wallace, and Trinidad Chambliss against that defensive talent like Mesidor and Ruben Bain, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Ole Miss was able to get the job done against Georgia, but it's going to be one thing getting it done against this dominant Miami defense too. While Georgia is usually really well coached, Ole Miss outcoached Georgia in that game. The staff did an excellent job, but they are dealing with some extreme talent on that defensive front for Miami. I don't think Ole Miss's offense is going to get shut down. I don't think that Miami defense will be able to do what they did to Ohio State and A&M. But I think this is where we see that Miami offense step up. They stepped up at times against Ohio State. Beck played a much better game, and he didn't turn the ball over, and that is what matters. But Ole Miss has had a pretty weak run defense this year. Their defense has not been great, and while they have made improvements, I just don't have great value on the SEC. And it goes to show because Ole Miss was the team out of the SEC and the only team to make the college football playoff semifinals. I think Miami is the more complete team. And I don't think that Ole Miss defense will get enough pressure on Carson Beck, and they'll be able to run the ball with a stud at running back. Mark Fletcher has done an excellent job this playoff. Carson Beck is in his zone right now. He's 36-5 as a starter as well. Will the defense of Miami play a factor in winning the game? Yes, I do think it will. But the ultimate factor is going to be that Miami offense. They are going to have to step up in this game because I don't believe they're going to win this game only scoring 20 points. They're going to have to score close to 30, I believe. And I think we see a guy like Malachi Toney, that Miami true freshman wide receiver who had 1,000 yards this season so far. I think we see him step up. He stepped up in key moments. He had a game-winning touchdown against Texas A&M. I like this Miami staff. While Mario Cristobal has been known for some poor game plans before and not kneeling the ball, just some stupid stuff, he has been in his zone this playoff. And like I said, I just think Miami plays up to the competition it has showed this season with the win against Notre Dame, with the win against A&M and Ohio State. This team's talent is very good, and I think it steps up and leads them to a close win. Ole Miss is not going to back down in this game. But give me the Miami Hurricanes to win this game 27-24. I will take Ole Miss to only lose by a field goal and cover the 3.5, and I have the under for this game. I think Miami will make it back to the national title for the first time in over 20 years. And let's talk about the other college football playoff semifinal matchup between 1 seed Indiana and 5 seed Oregon tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's fair to say the winner of this game will probably be the favorite in the national title, at least when you look at the odds. These teams have already played already, and we know how the outcome went the first time, but it's hard to beat a good team twice. Indiana will have to bring their A game, and Oregon played that game off of a bye week, and they came out flat. There has been a lot of concern around that Oregon running back room, though. I'm sure they're going to be fine because they have a great pair of running backs with De'Aaron Hill Jr. and Noah Whittington, but it is rumored that Jordan Davidson might be out for the playoffs. They also lost like 3 or 4 of their backs to the portal, so they really have no depth in that running back room if Davidson is out. But I know they have talent and guys they can move around, and Whittington and Hill Jr. should get the job done. And the reason I mentioned that running back room is because if Oregon wants to win this game, they will have to run the ball. Last time they averaged 7 yards a carry. They ran the ball really well, and that is not including the sacks because they got sacked a bunch against Indiana. I believe they got sacked like 5 times against Indiana in the first matchup. But if you look to the first matchup, they only had 21 running back carries, but they managed to run for over 100 yards. Dante Moore had 9 carries for negative 27 yards, and that's because he got sacked a lot, like I said. But I'm telling you, if Oregon keeps the game on the ground and they're able to have an efficient rushing attack, then watch out because that Oregon run game has been so elite this season and they did not run the ball enough last time. And they're not going to win this game just throwing the ball in the air against that Indiana defense that is very stout. They're going to have to pass and run the ball. And Dante Moore has been playing much better, not turning the ball over a lot. He will have to protect the ball. Last time he had 1 passing touchdown to 2 interceptions. Indiana was dominant defensively in the second half, but if you look at the score through the fourth quarter, it was a very close game. In fact, it was tied midway through the fourth quarter. While Indiana's defense stepped up big in the second half, Oregon was able to make plays, like that pick six. They kept it close, but Indiana pulled away late and won the game. And Indiana has went on to be the best team in college football and the only undefeated team left. Oregon and that staff will not take this game lightly. They're going to be looking for revenge against the best in the country, the team that beat them, the only team that beat them earlier. I believe one of the X factors for Oregon has to be Brandon Finney, because if you look how he played against Tech, he had multiple turnovers. There's been times where he's been the best player on that Oregon team this season. But last time Oregon played Indiana, Elijah Surratt was torching that defense. He made key plays that really led to them winning the game. If it wasn't for Elijah Surratt, they might not have got it done. Mendoza to Surratt with the back shoulder throws were elite all game. Surratt had 8 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. They also ran the ball pretty well, 37 carries for 111 yards. Both these teams can run the ball. Both these teams have good quarterback play. Both these teams have very good defenses. I think it's really going to come down to the coaching staff and who can make the big plays. The odds are favoring Indiana right now by 3.5. And ultimately, I think this Indiana team has just been too dominant. Fernando Mendoza leads the country in passing touchdowns. He's hardly turned the ball over. He has been clutch in these games, and I have to take that Indiana coaching staff. Curt Cignetti continues to impress week after week. The dominant performance over Alabama 38-3, shutting them down offensively. While I do think Oregon is going to fight and keep this game very close, I am going to trust the Indiana coaching staff and Fernando Mendoza to keep it going. I think they remain undefeated and go on to the national title. There is just a bunch of experience on this team, and ultimately the experience and the veterans on the team might lead them to the win in this game over this young and talented Oregon team. So give me Indiana in a close one, 23-20. I think there'll be some field goals in this game. Both these defenses will step up, but ultimately I'm trusting the staff and the experience of Indiana. I think Oregon covers +4 and keeps it close, and I have the under for this game. But anyways, that will do it for my college football playoff semifinals, picks, and predictions. You guys let me know what you think about these matchups and who you think will win down in the comments below. Now let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing and also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. That includes my membership for $5 a month. In that membership, you could talk college football with me Saturday mornings during the seasons. Ultimately, this will start up again next season. So if you guys want to talk college football with me, feel free to join my membership. And I also have some other exclusive perks if you're interested in joining. But that will do it, guys, and peace out.